You're listening to the Happiest Girl in the Room podcast. Hey, welcome back to the Happiest Girl in the Room podcast, also known as the Happiest Diaries. Still me, Ayodele Alabi, and today I want to talk on the topic, a friend indeed. Growing up, there was this very common saying, a friend in need is a friend indeed. And for the most part of my life, I believed it. And I think a lot of people do as well. I mean, we consider it normal to take anyone who stands by us through our trials and storms as our true friends. I mean, this is the person who is running around to ensure that, we are coping with the lemons life has thrown in our way. So, of course, they must be my real friends, right? Okay, let's talk about that a bit more. I actually think that anyone with a kind heart and a spirit of empathy can be there for you in your tough times. That's what I think. I'm not saying that your friends who support you in your tough times are not your friends, but what I'm saying is we also need to be sure that those same people can celebrate you when things are going great, when things are wonderful for you. And I think that adulthood has taught me that this, in fact, is a greater test of friendship than anything else. So as we discuss a friend indeed, I'll try to share on different themes of relationships and connections because they represent a vital aspect of our happiness journey. I shared in my book, The Happiest Girl in the Room, how we can nurture meaningful relationships and how that helped me in many ways. The relationship that I have with my amazing family and my friends, who I call my support system, really helped me through the dark times on my journey to joy. But let me also point out that these people are even more excited about how I'm finding myself again, how I am embracing joy, and they're always asking how they can continue to help me to sustain my joy. They're more excited to help me now to be happy than they were to help me then in my lonely times. So let's try and explore the role of friendship in charting our happiness course in our lives. Friendships, relationships, I'll definitely be using the two words interchangeably. There are two kinds of relationships or friendships. And let me talk a bit about them and how we can navigate them. The first one is the toxic relationships or the toxic friendships. And then the second one is the friends indeed and how we can continue to cultivate the healthy connections that uplift and support us. I'd like to begin with a question. Why do we even get into friendships? Why do we get into relationships in the first place? I think it's because we're social beings. Relationships, friendships bring joy, it brings comfort, it brings growth. Because there is nothing as great as finding your own people. There's nothing as amazing as finding your own person. And there is comfort in community and in the confidence that comes from knowing that someone has got your back. And that's great friendship. But when these friendships take a wrong turn, they can drain our energy and they can hinder our progress. And that's when it becomes toxic. And so how do you identify a toxic relationship? What is it? I think that is any relationship that is harmful and unhealthy. It's that relationship that is characterized by terrible or destructive patterns of behavior or emotions or interactions. And toxic relationships can be romantic, can be one with a man and his wife, or it can be with your family, so your sisters, your brother. It can be with friends, and it can be professional, in the workplace. So you need to be able to identify when you are in a toxic relationship or in a toxic situation. Let me just tell you a bit of what I know about how to identify a toxic friendship or a toxic relationship. I think the first one, it's very clear. Emotional abuse. I don't want to say physical because that goes without saying. Emotional abuse, just know that you're in a toxic relationship. If your friend is constantly belittling you, belittling your achievements, they're name calling you, they're making derogatory jokes about you in the presence of others and expecting you to laugh it off, I'm sorry, toxic. If you are around people that are constantly manipulating you, people that are gaslighting you, again, you should know it's toxic. If your friends or your spouse, your significant other, your family, whoever, disrespects you, it's toxic. If you notice entitlement, selfishness, like they expect you to always do stuff for them and they don't do anything for you in return and they make you feel bad about it, toxic. Let me see. If your friend always has this unpredictable mood swings, when they're around you, they're always in a terrible mood and you are constantly walking on eggshells around them, they're using you as an emotional punching bag, toxic. If your friend avoids accountability, like they get defensive instead of apologizing when they've done something wrong, toxic. If your friend is constantly criticizing you, I think I mentioned something like this earlier, please run the other way. Try and fix it or run the other way. If your friend is always there to support you when things are going bad for you, but they struggle to celebrate your wins, my dear, toxic. And I would speak a lot about that. I think, in fact, any friendship or any relationship or any situation that leaves you feeling drained, leaves you feeling anxious, leaves you feeling sad or depressed, I think that is your brain telling you that where you are, the situation you are in, the people that you're around, is toxic and it's not good for you. Because I have experienced toxic relationships that left me feeling exhausted, feeling drained, feeling uncertain about myself. You're in the presence of these people, I'm just like, phew, it's just so hard. Friendships should never be that hard. Relationship should be that difficult, that drains you. And the truth is, I am even currently I'm navigating some toxic relationships in my workplace. I'm not going to give you gist, or I'm not going to rehash any of the horrid experiences. I don't even want to. But what I want to share is valuable lessons that I am picking up from these experiences. I think the first thing that you need to recognize in a toxic situation is you need to look out for the red flags. I just described a number of scenarios just a minute ago, so just look out for those sort of things, and you need to identify once you see them. You need to be able to call them out, like, oh, okay, this is toxic. Don't ignore them. Don't ignore your intuition. If you feel that somebody's mocking you, if you feel somebody's manipulating you, if you feel someone is belittling you, please don't ignore your intuition. That gut feel always tells you. So just trust your feeling. I'm not saying that be overly cautious and so self-conscious and you begin to count the littlest things. No. But we're all grown-ups. We're all adults. We can decipher the situations when we're in them. So if you feel it, just don't push it away. Process it and be able to identify, is this a red flag? Is this a toxic situation? And then, just know. I know that when I started experiencing my own in my current workplace, at first I was like, am I imagining things, or could he be, or could he not be? So I kept pushing it away, like, oh, it's not that serious, until it became so huge. Yeah. So it doesn't have to become so huge. You need to be able to recognize it, because it's easier to deal with when they're still little than when they become gigantic. So what have I been doing since I finally recognized what the toxic situation I found myself in? What have I been doing? I try to communicate my needs. So, okay, this is not working for me, or this is how I feel about this thing. So I speak up about it. I think in the last episode I spoke about my flight response to everything. I'm setting boundaries, yeah? So it's not like I'm fleeting now. I'm setting boundaries to remove myself from negative situations and those negative and toxic people, because I if it doesn't fit my peace, it means it's costing the exact opposite of that. So I just set those boundaries and I say no without guilt or apology. If you are like this and I know that you coming into my space, you coming in around me is going to make me feel some certain type of way, even if you claim to be unaware about it, I'm sorry, no. And it's okay to say no. I'm also prioritizing self-care and trying to surround myself with positivity. As in, the situation I was in started to get to me. What did I do? I took some time off. You know what? I told my boss, I need some time to protect my sanity, to protect my peace. I just need to step away from this environment for a bit. And so I did just that. Yeah, so I think that if you find yourself in such situations, you need to, be able to identify it. You need to be able to set those boundaries. You need to be able to prioritize yourself, your own needs. Take care of yourself and try and remove yourself from that toxic place, that negative place, and surround yourself with positivity instead. And always talk to yourself. Words of affirmation, they work. I deserve respect. I deserve empathy. I deserve kindness. And please, stop settling for less. Just stop it. Okay, I think I've drawn a lot on toxicity. But there's a notion I said, you remember the saying I mentioned at the beginning when they say a friend in need is a friend indeed. And I said I was going to challenge that saying. Well, here goes. We often say that true friends are those who stand by us through life storms, and that is in fact undeniable. But adulthood, my experiences have taught me to believe that what is even greater are those friends that are able to stay with you and celebrate you when the sun is shining brightly on you, when you are shining, when you are winning. Who are the people screaming for you? Who are the people excited for your wins? Man, I'm beginning to think that is a realer test of friendship than anything else. So I want us to think about it. When we're going through tough times, we need support, we need comfort, we need encouragement, which is what your friend can do. Or, as I said earlier, someone who is just really kind-hearted, somebody who has a spirit of empathy, can actually do that. It doesn't take a friend to, comfort you, to be there for you, to support you. You get. But when you do achieve something amazing, when you are shining, who's there to share the excitement with you? Who's there to pop the champagne? Who's there to scream for joy and remind you, oh, you worked hard for this, babe. Enjoy the spotlight. Enjoy yourself. Celebrate. Who's there? Who's holding your hand and really screaming on top of their voice for your success? I think that these are the friends who truly understand the value of our success. They're the ones who see our potential. They're the ones who believe in us and who want to see us soar. I am that friend for my friends, yeah. And it's not just about cheerleading. It's about creating happiness together. We don't just remind each other about our successes. We also share the journey, because in the world right now, there's a lot of envy, there's a lot of competition, and that can easily creep in. So I'm not judging anyone, because we're humans, and so you want something and then you see your friend getting that thing that you want. The human in you may be envious, but you should kill it immediately. You should just end it. You need to be happy for your friends, because go on social media and the things that friends are doing to friends, scary. So people that are not envious of you, that are not in competition with you, those friends are rare these days. People that are not, they don't feel threatened by your accomplishment. Instead, they feel elevated by the collective success that you have as a group. So I think that we should cherish these friends, these relationships. They're the relationships that uplift us, and they're the relationships that inspire us. When my friend becomes a director, I'm not jealous of my friend for becoming a director. I'm excited for my friend who has become a director. And guess what? He's inspiring me to say, okay, oh, my friend is a director before 40. I can also be a director before 40. It should spur you and inspire you when you celebrate those things. It shouldn't bring out envy or hate. No. Do you get what I mean? So in the end, it's really not just about who's there for us during the tough times. It's about who's there to lift us higher when we are flying. And those are the relationships that we need to cultivate. These are the healthy relationships that we need to create. And we need to find that network of friends around us so that they can fuel our happiness journey. So how do you play your part in foiling these sort of meaningful relationships? You need to continue to build trust in that relationship, because trust is like the cornerstone of every strong bond. You need to build trust. And how do you build trust? You communicate. Open communication is essential. You need to be able to share your feelings, your thoughts in a very open and honest way. And then when you talk about communication and being open and being honest, vulnerability comes in. You're sharing your true self, your flaws and all. Because vulnerability is what helps with intimacy. It helps you connect with someone on a deeper level. So, yeah, I still have a lot of work to do when it comes to being vulnerable. As I said, if you listen to my past episode, as a person, I was always the vulnerable one. Like, very open, very trusting, very everything, and that's why people would typically describe me as naive. But I think with all my experiences, I have become guarded. I didn't even realize until I think 2 or 3 friends lately, different scenarios, were speaking about self-awareness and toxic traits. And I'd asked a friend of mine, what is my toxic trait? It would be great to know what you see as a person who's close to me. What do you see as my toxic trait? And this person was like, well, I think your most toxic trait is how guarded you are. I laughed for so long because it just shows that I am a woman of extremes. It's crazy, right? Like, I moved from the very end of naivety to the, the guarded. And sometimes I don't even know that I am that guarded. But when this person said it to me, and then I had another conversation with someone, and the person also, said it in a way that he was like complaining, like, you're so guarded, like, release yourself. I just like, I don't even know that I'm doing that. There is no way that you can connect with people without being vulnerable to them. I think I wrote it even in my book. There was one time, AJ, one of my friends, who is always, at that time when I was still grieving, he would always be reaching out, okay, share. And I would always say, fine, until she told me, you know what? You are so, into yourself, like, you don't share. I've started to get that feedback a lot. Like, I was so friendly, but not friendly at the same time. And I'm working on it, because I don't think that I consciously developed this wall. I think it was just subconsciously, given everything that I'd been through in the past couple of years. So, just that vulnerability is so important. I spent a lot of time on vulnerability because I think that it's a crucial part of every and any relationship, whether it's at work or whether it's personal relationships. I think that for your relationships to also thrive, I think it requires quality time. Investing in shared experiences to create those lasting memories. It's all about active listening. It's all about trying to, go beyond the words someone is speaking to actually understand what they're trying to say. So that's it. I think I would also call out emotional intelligence, because that helps us to navigate the challenges that we have in life together as friends, and we can empathize with each other's feelings whenever we're going through stuff. So I have a community of friends with 3 of us, and we share everything. We share our wins, we share our challenges, and we can truly empathize with one another, and we share counsel. We recently started investing together as well, identifying investment opportunities and putting funds together to take those opportunities. Yeah, so I think that if you find that network, it's good to cherish it, and it's good to just groom it and grow it. Relationships are not immune to challenges, and that's why it too helps with conflict resolutions. So with your emotional intelligence, you can get through disagreements. And also, forgiveness is important. I know that I did an episode on forgiveness before. So it's also important, letting go of grudges. Your friend or not will annoy you because you're two different people. Your spouse will annoy you. You're two different people. It's just that letting go of grudges or resentment is so critical. That's one thing that I think mine is just a blessing. I do not know how to hold a grudge. I don't know how to resent people. Like even if you hurt me in the past, as I said, I would flee from you. I would stay away from you. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I have a grudge in my heart. No, it doesn't. It just means that you've disrespected me. You've hurt me. You've betrayed my trust, and I would not give you an opportunity to do that again. That's just it. It doesn't mean that I have a grudge, against you in my heart. No. So just saying that, if anybody who maybe we were once close and we're no longer close because some things happened, I don't have a grudge against you. I wish you all the best, really. It's just some things happen that you just sever the relationship, not because you hate the person. It's just a way of protecting your own self. But if you've forgiven the person, it's fine. And adaptability too is very critical. I think if a very close friendship I had ended because when I did when I reflected on that relationship, I think the critical thing missing there was adaptability. So I'd gone through this really life-changing experience that has changed me. People that knew me before and knew me now, and we're still friends, will tell you for free that I am not the same person I was before the grief. So adaptability is very vital in friendships. For you to be in any relationship, you need to be able to embrace change and growth, even when it's uncomfortable. So I think if you do love someone and you feel like the person matters to you, if you want to forge that relationship and that connection, adaptability is a critical skill. Should I call it a skill now? It's necessary for you, because people are not going to stay the same over time. Things are going to change. Life will happen and changes them. They're going to grow. They're going to grow out of some things. So you just also need to be able to adapt to this new person or this new, because I am an example of that change. Okay, so let me wrap up. The rewards of meaningful relationships are immeasurable. This emotional support and encouragement that comes from that community, there's shared laughter, the memories that you create that bring joy to you. There's sometimes I'm just by myself and I remember something that I once shared with a friend and I laugh. Okay, so those moments of joy, you cannot even begin to quantify it. And then there's growth that comes from it, just self-discovery. If you're really open and honest and vulnerable with each other, you can learn from each other's strengths and you can learn from each other's weaknesses. They help us become better versions of ourselves. When I watch my sister, the one before me, she's like our mother, even though she's in the middle. And I watch her and she's also always been nurturing, but the older she gets, the more nurturing she becomes. So I've seen her through the times and how she's become a better version of herself, and I'm able to learn from her. I'm able to learn from her how to be more compassionate, more empathetic, more understanding, and show it, because I think that's something about me as well. I'm extremely compassionate, for real. This is not a lie or a joke. I cannot see somebody hurting someone else. Like, I don't even want to see it. I don't know what it does to me, but it breaks me. I don't know how to explain it. So if people are fighting, like even I can be scrolling through social media, I see a video of people fighting. I literally would flip. I would almost throw my phone away. It does something to me. You get, but I think maybe because of everything I've gone through again, I mask all of these things somehow. So, but from the relationships that I have with my sister, for example, the one before me, I'm able to learn how to show these things in a way that communicates strength, not in a way that people can take advantage of, which probably used to be the case. So I'm able to learn it in a way that communicates strength. For my younger sister, same thing. I always say she's the strongest person I know, but she's also the most empathetic person I know. She's the most understanding person I know, but she does it from a place of strength. So I learned from these relationships. It was almost like, okay, I have good examples around me of who I am and who I can be with the qualities that I have. So I just learn from them. And that's what good relationships help us to do. They give us a sense of belonging, and they keep us grounded in this world that is so chaotic. Yeah, so I think as I wrap up now, I'm going to say to you, cultivate those meaningful relationships in your life. We're in a world where people are just ready to cancel people for nothing or for the slightest thing. If you're in a toxic relationship or a toxic situation, please address it, because sometimes some people, maybe they genuinely don't know that they're hurting you with the ways they act. But if you try and address it and it still persists, please get out of it. And then if you identify those relationships that are meaningful, the ones that, as I said, not only the ones that are there for you when you're going through tough times, but the ones that are celebrating with you when the sun is shining brightly on you, please cultivate those relationships. Reach out to them regularly. Also, be what people are for you, or what you want people to be for you or to you. Try and be that for other people as well. Try and be that to them. Yeah. Listen, show gratitude. Prioritize that quality time with them. Schedule check-ins. A friend of mine came to visit me. We had a public holiday just a few days ago, and she came and spent the entire day with me. And bliss. Talked about all sorts of things. Sometimes not even talking, watching TV, but it was just bliss. Quality time. Practice empathy. Practice understanding. Cherish those relationships with all your heart, and you will see the reward. Laughter, purpose, love. Yeah. Finally, I would say meaningful connections, meaningful relationships, they are not a luxury. They are a necessity for the life that we live. They are necessary for our well-being. They are necessary for our happiness. So please cherish them. Do the work as well, and so that you can enjoy the rewards. And finally, never forget. Yes, God put people in this world for us. But the ultimate friend indeed is Jesus Christ. So study the word. Lean on God. And He will guide you. He would let you know when you are even in these toxic situations, and He would take you away from them. It would help you learn through the process. It would help you grow. It would help you decipher and see things for what they really are. So don't even neglect God at all. Yeah, thank you for listening to this episode of Happiest Diaries. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. You're listening to the Happiest Girl in the Room podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Happiest Girl in the Room podcast. See you